Step away from him. Let's see
This is
some
a
ID right now.
misunderstanding. We live
Officer,
here.
this is a
That woman demanded
misunderstanding.
our
This isn't a
paperwork.
debate. License and proof of address now.
It's in my wallet, in the bag. I was just reaching for the
Don't
key
you
fob.
reach. Turn around. Hands on the fence. Stop.
Change
He's a
the
law professor. We live on Magnolia Lane.
Magnolia Lane.
Save it. You can.
Jessica Manning had no idea who she was actually talking to. She thought she was protecting her neighborhood from outsiders, but she was actually yelling at her bosses. In the next 10 minutes, this simple interaction would change her life forever. It would lead to her immediate eviction. It would start a massive civil rights investigation, and it would end with her paying $980,000. The couple she was trying to kick out wasn't just visiting. Charles and Monica Thompson were the elected co-presidents of the entire Homeowners Association. They were literally the bosses of the security guard Jessica was about to call, and the neighbor sitting behind them was recording everything. Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments. Jessica Manning had no idea who she was screaming at. She saw a black family and assumed they didn't belong. She was wrong. Charles and Monica Thompson had lived in Riverside Estates for 12 years. Charles was a senior project manager for a major tech firm. Monica was a highly respected civil rights attorney. She wasn't just a lawyer. She literally wrote the state handbook on fair housing laws. She knew the rules better than anyone in the state. But on this Saturday, they weren't working. They were just parents. They wanted to take their 3 children swimming. Their kids were 8, 10, and 12 years old. They had packed towels, sunscreen, and pool toys. They just wanted to relax. A year ago, the community voted for them. The neighbors elected Charles and Monica as co-presidents of the HOA board. They ran for office to make the rules better for everyone. They wanted the neighborhood to be welcoming. They never expected to be stopped at their own gate. They never expected to be treated like criminals in their own home. On this hot July afternoon, the Thompsons weren't lawyers or board members. They were just a family trying to cool off, but someone was waiting to ruin their day. Jessica Manning, however, had a reputation in this neighborhood. She was 42 years old. She worked as a real estate agent. This is ironic because she should have known fair housing laws, but Jessica didn't care about laws. She cared about control. In just 6 months, there were 5 reports about her. Every single report was the same. She tried to police who came into the community spaces. The staff called her the warden. Here is what happened 2 months ago. Jessica saw a gardener eating lunch in his truck. She called the police because his truck looked suspicious. The gardener had a contract with the HOA. He was allowed to be there. Then last month, she yelled at a delivery driver. She said he was walking too slowly. And 3 weeks ago, she was at this same pool. She scolded a teenager for playing music. The music was at a whisper volume, but Jessica yelled until the teenager left in tears. She felt powerful when she made people leave. She thought it was her job to watch everyone, but she was not on the board. She was not security. She was just a resident with too much time. This time was different, though. Unlike the gardener or the teenager, Jessica was about to pick a fight with the wrong people. She was about to pick a fight with people who knew the rules better than she did. Type justice in the comments if you think people like Jessica need to face consequences. It was Saturday, July 14th. The time was 2:30 p.m. It was the peak of a summer heat wave. The Riverside Estates community pool was the place to be. It was a gated area. You needed a special key fob to open the gate. Inside, the atmosphere was peaceful. Kids were splashing in the shallow end. Parents were reading books on lounge chairs. There were about 30 residents there. A lifeguard sat in the tall chair, watching the water. At that specific moment, there was no security guard on the deck. The guard was on patrol in a golf cart elsewhere. Then Jessica arrived. The time was 2:35 p.m. She walked through the gate. She scanned the pool area like a hawk. She spotted the Thompsons near the shallow end. They were putting sunscreen on their youngest child. They were the only black family at the pool right now. Jessica didn't say hello to anyone. She bypassed several empty chairs. She walked straight up to them. The lifeguard watched her. He knew trouble was coming. Jessica stopped right in front of Charles. She didn't smile. She didn't introduce herself. She just demanded their ID. The entire pool went quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing. That's when everything changed. If stories like this matter to you, hit subscribe. We expose injustice every single week. I need to see your lease, Jessica demanded again. Monica stayed calm. We own our home, Monica said. We used our fob to enter. The light turned green. That means we are active residents. Jessica crossed her arms. Fobs can be stolen, she snapped. SH. I'm a utility bill on your phone right now. Charles stepped in. He stood between Jessica and his wife. You are harassing us, Charles said. Please step away from my family. Jessica stepped closer. I am protecting this community, she yelled. You are trespassers. We are not trespassers, Monica said firmly. Then prove it, Jessica shouted. I will call the police, Jessica threatened, and I will have your fake fob deactivated. Go ahead, Charles said. Call them. Jessica's face turned red. She looked at the pool. The Thompson children were trying to get in the water. Jessica moved quickly. She stood at the top of the pool steps. She physically blocked the children. No swimming, she said. Not until I see papers. The 8-year-old looked scared. Charles's voice dropped low. Do not touch my children, he warned. Move out of the way. Make me, Jessica sneered. The tension was thick. A neighbor named Sarah pulled out her phone. She started recording. Another dad stood up. He looked concerned. Hey, the dad said. Leave them alone. Jessica spun around. Mind your business, she screamed at the dad. She pulled out her phone. She dialed the security gate number. She put it on speaker so everyone could hear. Security, she yelled into the phone. There are intruders at the pool. They are getting violent. Charles and Monica just watched her. They didn't scream back. They stood their ground. The lifeguard blew his whistle. Ma'am, step away from the pool edge, he said. Jessica ignored him. Get here now, she screamed at security. They are refusing to leave. What Jessica didn't know was that the security guard she was calling had just had lunch with Charles the day before. Things were about to get very embarrassing for her. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you have stayed calm like Charles and Monica? 10 minutes later, the sound of a golf cart engine broke the silence. Security guard Mike arrived. He looked breathless. He jumped out of the cart and ran toward the pool gate. Jessica smiled. It was a smug, victorious smile. Finally, she said loudly. She pointed a finger at Charles. Mike, get these people out, she ordered. They are trespassing and threatening me. Mike stopped running. He froze. He looked at Jessica. Then he looked at Charles. Then he looked at Monica. His eyes went wide. Jessica didn't notice his reaction. Well, she said, grab them. Mike took a deep breath. Mrs. Manning, Mike said slowly. This is Mr. Thompson. Jessica rolled her eyes. I don't care what his name is. Mrs. Manning, please listen, Mike said firmly. This is Mr. Thompson, the HOA president. The silence at the pool was heavy. And that is Mrs. Thompson, Mike continued. The co-president. He paused for effect. He signs my paychecks, Mrs. Manning. Jessica's mouth opened. And it closed. Then it opened again. She looked at Charles. Charles just crossed his arms and waited. That's not true, she stammered. You're lying. Now the witnesses spoke up. Sarah, the neighbor with the phone, walked over. I have her on video, Sarah said. She called them you people 3 times. The lifeguard climbed down from his chair. They used a valid fob, the lifeguard said. I saw the green light myself. Another neighbor chimed in. She has been harassing them for 10 minutes. They haven't done a thing. Jessica looked around. She saw the phones pointing at her. She saw the angry faces of her neighbors. She realized she was alone. Charles finally spoke. He didn't speak as a neighbor. He spoke as the president. Mike, Charles said. Yes, sir, Mike replied instantly. Please document this incident immediately, Charles said. I want a full report filed by tonight. Yes, sir, Mike said. Jessica's face went pale. She tried to backtrack. She let out a nervous laugh. Well, they didn't tell me who they were, she said. I was just trying to protect the community. You should thank me. Monica stepped forward. The attorney was ready to work. We don't need to show you ID to swim in our own pool, Monica said. And harassing the board is a violation of community rules. Jessica took a step back. I didn't know, she whispered. Ignorance is not a defense, Monica said. But wait, there's more to this. Jessica thought she could just talk her way out of it. But she had already called the police, and they were pulling into the parking lot right now. Type karma in the comments if you love seeing instant justice. 2 police officers walked through the gate. Jessica had called them earlier. She thought they were coming to arrest the intruders. Now they were walking into a scene where she was the villain. Officer Davis approached the group. Who called? He asked. I did, Jessica said quickly, but it's fine now. It was a misunderstanding. It is not fine, Charles said. She filed a false report against us. Officer Davis looked at Charles. Do you live here, sir? Yes, Charles S. Aid, we are the HOA presidents. The officer checked their IDs. He verified their address in 30 seconds. They were exactly who they said they were. Then the officer turned to Jessica. Ma'am, you said on the phone they were violent, the officer said. Did they attack you? Jessica looked down. Well, they looked aggressive, she mumbled. Did they touch you? The officer asked. No, she admitted. Sarah stepped forward with her phone. Officer, here is the video, she said. The officer watched the video. He saw Charles standing 5 feet away with his hands up. He saw Jessica screaming and blocking the kids. He saw Jessica lying to security. Officer Davis handed the phone back to Sarah. He turned to Jessica. His face was stern. Ma'am, filing a false police report is a crime, he said. You are lucky these folks aren't pressing criminal charges right now. But I live here, Jessica argued. That doesn't give you the right to harass your neighbors, the officer said. We are issuing you a formal warning for harassment. If we have to come back here, you will be arrested. Jessica was shaking. She was angry. She was embarrassed. "This is ridiculous," she spat. "I'm going to sue this department, and I'm suing the HOA." She stormed off toward the exit. She grabbed her bag and left. The pool was quiet again. Mike, the security guard, apologized to Charles. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Thompson," he said. "It's not your fault, Mike," Charles said. Charles and Monica turned to their kids. "It's okay now," Monica said softly. "You can go swim." The kids jumped in the water, but the fun was gone. The mood was ruined. The neighbors rallied around them. People came up to apologize. "She's always like that," one lady said. "I'm so sorry she targeted you." Jessica thought she had escaped with just a warning. She went home and poured herself a drink. She thought it was over, but Charles and Monica went home and opened their laptops. They weren't just mad, they were prepared, and someone had been recording. If you believe in holding people accountable, hit subscribe. We need your support to keep telling these stories. By 6:00 p.m. that evening, Sarah had uploaded the video to TikTok. She used the hashtag HOA Karen. The video showed Jessica blocking the kids. It showed her screaming, "Make me." And it showed the moment Mike revealed who Charles was. By 8:00 p.m., the video had 50,000 views. Local community Facebook groups exploded. Neighbors recognized Jessica immediately. They started sharing their own stories about her bullying. The next morning, the video had 2 million views. TMZ picked it up. The headline read, "Karen tries to evict HOA president from own pool." By Monday morning, the internet had identified Jessica. They found her name. They found her employer. The comments were brutal. One person wrote, "Imagine asking the owner if they belong there." Another wrote, "The audacity to double down when the guard told her." Jessica's real estate firm was flooded with calls. It received 5,000 one-star reviews in 24 hours. People asked why they employed someone who discriminated against neighbors. The firm had no choice. On Tuesday morning, they posted a statement. "We do not tolerate discrimination. Jessica Manning no longer works for us." Jessica was fired. She lost her job because of a 5-minute temper tantrum. Local news crews camped out on the sidewalk. They interviewed the Thompsons. The segment was called "Swimming While Black." It highlighted how often this happens to minority families. The video was shared millions of times. Share this video if you think others should see this story. Jessica tried to hide. She deleted her social media accounts. But the damage was done. Her reputation was destroyed. But the biggest blow wasn't from the internet. It wasn't from her job. It was from her own landlord. And this is where Monica's expertise as an attorney came in handy. The Thompsons filed a civil lawsuit. They sued for defamation and violation of the Fair Housing Act. But here is the clever part. Monica reviewed the HOA rules and Jessica's rental agreement. She found Jessica's lease. Clause 14b was very clear. It said, "Tenant must adhere to all HOA rules and treat staff and board members with respect." Harassing the board president was a direct breach of the lease. It was a violation of the contract. The Thompsons contacted Jessica's landlord. They sent him the video. They sent him the police report. They sent him a formal letter regarding the harassment of the board. The landlord acted fast. He didn't want legal trouble with the HOA. He served Jessica with an eviction notice. The notice cited nuisance and lease violation. She had 30 days to get out. Jessica tried to fight it. She went to court. But the judge saw the video. The judge saw her blocking children from a pool. The judge saw her screaming at the president. Jessica lost. She was evicted from her home, but wait until you hear. Financial cost. The civil lawsuit went to a jury. The jury listened to the witnesses. They saw how Jessica targeted the family because of their race. They saw how she lied to the police. The jury was furious. They awarded the Thompsons compensatory damages for emotional distress, but then they added punitive damages. Punitive damages are meant to punish bad behavior. The total judgment was $980,000, almost $1 million. Jessica Manning lost everything. She lost her job, she lost her home, she lost her life savings. She tried to start a GoFundMe page for her legal fees. It was removed for violating the terms of service. She was banned from the community property. Her real estate license was suspended pending an ethics review. She had to move back in with her parents in another state. The amount they paid, $0. Jessica declared bankruptcy. But the debt from a specialized tort like this often cannot be wiped away. She will be paying for this for the rest of her life. The Thompsons didn't keep the money. They pledged to donate any funds collected to a fair housing nonprofit. They didn't want her money. They wanted justice. After the verdict, Monica stood outside the courthouse. Reporters held microphones in front of her. She held Charles's hand. She looked tired but proud. "I fight these cases for others every day," Monica said. "I am a lawyer, I know the system. But I never thought I would have to fight one in my own backyard." She paused to wipe a tear. The hardest part was explaining to my 8-year-old why a lady was screaming at us. My children lost their innocence that day. They learned that some people will hate them just for existing. That is a pain no money can fix. She looked directly into the cameras. To the neighbors who filmed and spoke up, thank you. Silence is complicity. You didn't just watch, you acted. And to anyone out there who thinks they can police their neighbors based on how they look, your bias is not a valid security concern. We belong here, we earned our place here, and we aren't going anywhere. The Thompsons went back to their blue house. They went back to leading the HOA. They made sure the rules were clear. Harassment would never be tolerated again. They turned their pain into protection for the next family. This isn't just one bad day. This is a pattern known as pool policing. 65% of Black Americans report feeling watched in luxury spaces. Usually the victims don't have power. This case was different because the victims were the bosses. Riverside Estates changed their policy. They added a zero-tolerance rule for harassment. One strike and you are fined. It's a start, but laws only work if people speak up. So let me ask you, do you think Jessica would have been evicted if the video didn't go viral? Do you think she would have stopped if the Thompsons weren't the presidents? Do you think we punish false police reports harshly enough? Because if we don't fix this entitlement, then we're just waiting for the next Jessica Manning, the next innocent family, the next traumatic event. Comment below if you believe false 911 calls should result in jail time. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these stories. We're going to keep demanding better. This isn't just about one angry neighbor or one family at a pool. It's about all of us. It's about who has the right to exist in peace. See you in the next one.